Hello everyone, this is Ruth, the crafter mom, and today we're gonna talk about the books that I read in the month of July. So if you wanna see what I read, just stay here. Okay, so let's start with my challenges. So A to C, I still haven't done anything, and hopefully I can do it in the next couple months, as I really don't have too much to read for my goal. Then we have, let me just center it. I think you guys can see perfect. I finished my Goodreads 2023 100 book challenge, and I updated my goal to 150, and I am very excited that I finished this goal. It is an accomplishment for me, and let's see, I might have to bump up my goal next year for 200. We will see how much we read up to the end of 2023. So far I read so much, it is like my brain has so many books and information, but I love it. I love it because this means that, you know, I'm giving myself time to enjoy one of the things that I love the most, that is reading. My book bingo, I'm almost done with everything. I only need to finish this one, and we will see if on August this changes. There's a hint, it's going to happen. My Colleen Hoover reading list, I haven't updated anything. I haven't read anything new from it. I have 2 books though on my to be read list. On my physical to be read list, I have Never Never, and these 3 books are condensed now in one. And then I have Hopeless, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and Finding Cinderella, I have it on Kindle because they had a deal of $1.99, so I got it. The deal is not available anymore. It was, I think, during July that they had it. So I have those 3 books from Colleen Hoover. If I have the chance, I will read it. Probably I will start reading this month of August, because I'm gonna take my Kindle on my vacation, so I'm gonna take advantage of it. My book talk checklist, I was only able to read The Song of Achilles of this so far, and I have other ones that I really want to read. I want to read Red, White, and Royal Blue before I watch the movie, and I want to read Babel for real. Like, I read Yellow Face this month, and it's from the same author, and I love how she writes, so I really want to do this one. The Q2 Bad Bitch Book Club, I think I put this that I finished it last month, the month of June, so it's old. I haven't updated or anything. Monthly challenge July, I did the book The Summer Place for At the Beach book. My 52 books in a year, I think I'm just gonna make an update at the end of the year or at the end when I finish this, and I'll show you, like, it will be a separate video where I show you my 52 books in a year, that they were according to the prompts that I had. These are prompts that I found from anywhere, and I really enjoy creating this and see if I can find stuff according to this, that, you know, sometimes we just read whatever, you know, we have, and sometimes we don't know what to read. So these challenges help us, especially this one helps me a lot. I haven't updated this at all. My reading tracker, you know, as always, all updated with me reading, and now I have the books I currently own and I haven't read. This is my to be read page, and I created this new one that I'm going to be re-releasing for this one. I made some changes. So if you see here, I put physical Nook Kindle audiobook, and this one, I'm just gonna make it a little big here so you guys can see it. I put physical ebook and audiobook, and you just have to check what it is. You have to put the author and the title of the book, and then again, you know, if you're done, you can just highlight it. And this is going to be like a new thing that I'm putting on my Etsy shop instead of this one, and I think it looks better, and it's like I think it makes more sense now that I did it this way instead of this one. I might could have added another column that said done, but yeah, let's not do it. This one I haven't really updated it, so I need to. That's why I needed this new one. I need to update it, and it wasn't really working completely for me. There was something missing, and I think I found it once I did this, redone that. My did not finish list, I think I'm gonna get rid of this page. I won't have this next year. This is something that it really hasn't worked. I have a couple books that I didn't finish, and most of them are audiobooks that it really like didn't click, but because I don't have it as a physical book, I don't want to write it down. And then again, you know, there's no purpose for this page anymore. My daughter's book challenge, she has read so far 7 books, so let's see how many more she reads. She enjoys coloring this. She just colored whatever. She didn't even follow the colors that we decided that she was gonna follow, it was gonna do, but yeah, she's loving doing it. I have that one on my Etsy shop. If you guys have kids, this is nice. It's a way to make them want to read in a fun way. We have this ones that they are for each season, and I created this for my summer, as my summer reading challenge. I haven't read anything, I have to be honest, from this, and I really want to at least do 3 out of these 9 books that I decided to put it here, and I'm sure I can do them. It's just July I prioritize other books, and we will go through it in a little bit, but I really wanna like at least finish a couple of them. These stickers that I use are from Planit Darbi, and I love it. Like, I use different stickers, and I resize them to make them look like smaller or bigger. We have this one that is the book club that we're doing with my sister, and she has a book club in Peru. They get together through Zoom, and then they have one in a bookstore, and they drink wine and they talk about the book and everything, while I just drink wine, and I'll do it through Zoom one of the meetings. And we have our new book is going to be The Parable of Talents, and I'm very excited to read it. It's a book that is originally wrote in English, so I'm gonna read it in English, and I know they're gonna read the translation, but I think I'm just gonna go with the English version, just because I want to get sure that I get everything the right way that it was written. Sometimes when you go into translation, it gets lost on it, certain things, and I don't want that to happen with this. These stickers and these ones are from Jojo's Pretty Paper Shop. I would add all this stuff that I'm saying on the description below, all the shops and everything that I've been talking about today. My traveling book club, it's the book club that I do with Knit Plunges, and right now we're trying to figure out what we're gonna read this month of August. So far, this book is traveling. Right now, it's on the 3rd person of the 4 people that this book is traveling. So what we do is we annotate, we put like little notes and everything, and then we add little gifts to the next person. So yeah, so far it's like a nice book club that we created with Jess. And I have my bookshelf of female authors, and this one I've been updating it a little bit. That's why it looks more colors. I have to read more from Sarah Adams. I'm seeing that I need to, from her and from Ruth Ware. So probably I'm gonna, and Abby Jimenez, and I have books from Abby Jimenez. If I'm not mistaken, I have the Happy Ever After playlist, and I think I have Part of Your World. So I have to read these ones just to make them. And I will have to add another one here because El Casimano is getting, oh, actually 2 books. She's adding 2 more books. One is for this year, and I think the other one is for next year. This is a challenge that I'm doing. It's the Summer 2023 Reading Challenge from the 52 Book Club. If you go to Goodreads, you can follow them from there, and there's a lot of prompts that you can do. This is one of them, and I print them, and this gives me ideas also of more books to read. Then I have this that I just added, and it's new to my line of my planner my reading planner, and it is all about the advanced readers copies publication dates. So I've been going into NetGalley since the beginning of this year, but I was procrastinating about it. Like, I will request a book and I will forget and I wouldn't read it. And I think it was because I didn't own a Kindle back in that time, and I had to read it on my iPad, and I didn't want to read it on my iPad. Finally, when I got the Kindle, I decided that I needed a way to see what books I was reading, and I made a calendar with these are the dates where the books are published. So in July they publish 4 books. They publish, well, 5, and you see this one is still not read because I totally forgot about it, and it was because I requested it a long time ago. So this is a book that I'm reading right now with another book. I'm giving priority to the other book just because this was released already, and the other one it's gonna be released soon. But every time I finish a book from my advanced reader's copy, what I'm doing is highlighting it so I know what I have pending to read, and this kind of maps out what am I gonna read during the month. I have for August, I finished The Art of Scandal, so I'm also prioritizing whatever I have that the author themselves has given to me through the book clubs, and I want to get sure I read it on time. So that's why I have a couple of them that I already read ahead of the game. But then, I'm reading this one too also, Summer Hates Christmas. And then I have a whole list right now for September 26th. I'm reading this one too also as an audiobook, and I'm really enjoying it. If you want a good audiobook, this is a good audiobook. It's a really nice one. It's it's a romance between a ghost and a woman. It's really cute. It sounds weird, but it's cute. Okay, so I have all of those. So then let's go to my reading 100 books. I finished this, and I have to print a new one just to add the other books that I'm gonna continue reading. Let's see how many more we do. Officially, my goal will end in 150. If I do more, I won't grow my goal. My goal will finish in 150. So let's see how many more we can do. And this printable, you can find it on Planit if you want it. I own a couple of her inserts. The book bingo that I have here too also belongs to her shop. And let's jump to the most important part, are the books that I read during July. We have Love on the Brain, 3 stars. I wanted to like this, but I felt it was kind of a copy of the Love Hypothesis. And even though it was a cute book, I didn't feel it was anything different going on, and that's why I gave it 3 stars. The Song of Achilles was a book that I read, like I said, during my book, The Traveling Book Club with Nit Planges, and I really enjoyed. Um, Obviously, this is a story between Achilles and his best friend, and it's a love story uh, of two friends, and it's a beautiful story mixed with war, mixed with mythology, and we know what happens to Achilles at the end. He gets killed, so we know the story. But I think the end, how Madeline Miller, finished the story, it was wonderful. I really suggest you guys to read this one if you're into mythology, or if you wanna start reading these kind of books. We have Two Wrongs Make a Right, and it's a romance book. I gave it 2.5 stars. I was wanting more from it. And what I like about this book is that the main character is a girl in the spectrum. So Chloe Lee's works it out so good that you see how people on the spectrum see the world in a different way than we do. I really enjoyed that part. Overall, 2.5 stars. I wish there was more. I'm going to read another book by her. It is the sequel of this book, and it's called Better Hate Than Never, and I really, really hope I will give it 3 to 4 stars, the minimum. So I'll let you know when I read it. Page Boy, I was so disappointed. I've been waiting for this book since the beginning of the year, when they put up that Elliot Page was getting a memoir. He was telling his story when he was a woman in the transition to be a man. And I wanted to like it, but I couldn't, because I feel it would have been much better if it would have been a linear book in the story. He kept jumping from present to past, and not even a linear past. So it was sometimes confusing, and I didn't understand why he was doing that. Well, I understand the purpose of the book and why he did what he did, and how his the story of his life helped him become who he is now. I wish he would have been told in a different way. Isabel Allende is the next book that I read, and it's called The Wind Knows My Name. And I really enjoyed this book. It is one of the most beautiful books that Isabel Allende has written. Isabel Allende is a Latin American writer. She was born in Peru, raised in Chile during the era where Chile was under dictatorships, and she had to emigrate to other countries. If I'm not mistaken, she emigrated first to Venezuela, and then I think when everything started to happen in Venezuela, she finally immigrated to the States, and now she lives in California. And this book tells the story. One of the stories is about this little girl from Central America that is trying to cross the border with her mom, and they separate her mom from her. And now a social worker is trying to find a member of her family in the United States that can keep the girl. It's also the story of a man that when he was a kid, he was separated from his mom during World War II. He was Jewish, and because of this, his mom decided to send him to London, and he loses his mom, he loses his dad, and he's raised by adopted parents, and then he emigrates to California. And these two stories interlap in the most beautiful way. I cry at the end of this book, one of my favorite books of the year. The American Roommate Experiment is a very spicy book written by Elena Armas, and it's the first time I'm reading Elena Armas, and I do it as an audiobook. I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but the way, so it's two narrators. There's the female narrator and there's the male narrator, from the point of view of the male narrator and the female narrator, obviously. And the guy, the way he reads it, it was like, ooh, temperature up. It was a really good book, like a very spicy book with little by little building up this tension, not only a sexual tension, but this like tension in between the characters and everything that is happening in their lives and what they want to accomplish, and how they're falling in love. Beautiful, like you feel like the time passes and how everything is like building up. The Stories We Cannot Tell, it's a book by Leslie Rasmussen, and I really love this book because it educates me in how sometimes pregnancies are not what you think they are. You may think from the outside that, you know, that woman is pregnant and everything is okay. And you may ask questions like, do you know if it's a girl or a boy, how many months you have, and everything. And you don't know if there's a battle with that woman because she knows that her baby has a condition and might not survive, or because it's sick and you have to decide if you're going to terminate the pregnancy or not. So it's a book with a lot of triggers of infertility, triggers of abortion, of babies dying in I don't know how to say it, like in conditions that, you know, maybe we're in what you no, let me rephrase it. I think it's better if I said, like, you know, if the baby had a condition and you had to decide either or terminate or not your pregnancy, so that becomes an abortion actually. And how your religion takes place in all of this too. It's not a religious book per se, but one of them talks about their faith and how would all these things will be into consideration and what they can do or cannot do. Very beautiful book, 5 stars. Talking as fast as I can, Lauren Graham is known by being one of the characters from Gilmore Girls, and I decided to read her memoir because this is her memoir. And I really enjoy it because it was like if Lorelai was talking, and she talked about her life from when she was a little girl up to when she filmed the second part of Gilmore Girls. A really cute story, and the way she tells it is amazing. It's funny. You're laughing through the whole book. Jennifer Weiner, The Summer Place. It's the story about this family that is gonna have a wedding in the summer house of the grandmother, and it's the wedding of the daughter, and things happen in between, and you don't know the secrets that the family has guarded for years, and some of the secrets will be discovered and some others will not be discovered, but it will be like, oh my god, what's going on. I enjoy this book. The Last Word, it's a book that I've been trying to read for a while, and I finally was able to. And it's a girl getting an audiobook for 99 cents that her neighbor recommended, and she disliked it so much that she gave it a 1 star. If she could have given it 0 stars, she would, but she couldn't, and she writes all this on the Amazon review. And the author contacts her and tells her that she should take this down because it's affecting his reputation as a writer, and she doesn't want to do it. So he threatens her and finally goes to her place to kill her. So yeah, I wish I would have given more stars, but like, I don't know, there was something missing and I don't know what it is, and I wasn't too satisfied with it at the end. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue was my favorite book of the month, and it's a historical fiction book because it goes through the life of this girl that sells her soul to, let's call it, the devil, and in exchange of her, living freely. What she didn't know is that when she did this pact with the devil was that she wasn't going to be able to be recognized by nobody else in the world. So her parents forget about her completely. They don't know they had a kid. If she will be talking with somebody and then she will leave the room and appear again, the person won't remember her. If like, once the character will close her eyes, go to another room, it will be like she was a new person. And she goes through life for 300 years until she meets a person that actually remembers her. And this is when the real story begins. Why he remembers her? What's the deal with it? Is it real? Is it luck? Or is it something that the devil did? Very beautiful story. Yellow Face was another good book. It's about this writer that is not that successful, and she has a friend that is a very successful writer, and they're celebrating on her house. They're celebrating her deal with Netflix for one of her books. And they're in her house, they're drinking. She shows her manuscript for a new book. And then they are drinking and they're eating, and she chokes and dies. So the friend decides to grab the manuscript and she reads it, she likes it, and then she starts to like rewriting parts here and there because it was like a first manuscript, so we needed a lot still of and I'm gonna cut this for a moment. Okay, and I had to cut it because my lights went off. I don't know what happened. I think the battery went off. But like I was saying, so she like fixes it, she edits the book, and she gives it to her publisher, and it becomes an instant success. So now it's dealing with the aftermath. There's people that don't think that she wrote it, and they start harassing her, and she denies everything. So yeah, it's a good book. The end was fantastic. You guys should read it definitely. Cinder is one of the books that I've been debating to read it for a while, and I was doing a challenge on Instagram, and one of the challenges was to read a fantasy book. So I finally decided to read Cinder, and Cinder is the retold story of Cinderella. Cinder is a cyborg and actually is trying to help the prince to fight the Queen of the Moon. And the Queen of the Moon happens to be the stepmom of Snow White. So this is part of a series. It's called the Lunar Chronicles, and little by little you start finding out what's going on with the different characters. One of the main characters and the character that appears in all the books is Cinder. Right now reading, I finished the third book, so I'm about to enter into the fourth book. I don't know if I will read it right now, but there's 5 books in total. So far, the story is very interesting. And if you're into fantasy or young adult fantasy, you should read this one. Brain and Sebastian hate each other. This was an advanced reader's copy that I got, and I did it as an audiobook. I didn't like that too much. It was sometimes very confusing. It was long. It's about this TV host, and she says something when the cameras were rolling that about her town, and she was so nasty with her comment that she is trying to redeem herself, and she thinks she has this idea that if she goes to her town, that is a small town in the middle of nowhere, and the people there forgive her for like the things that she said on national TV, everybody else can forgive her. And that's where she meets Sebastian. And Sebastian is a journalist. He's a very famous journalist, but decides to go to this little town just to live there because he doesn't want to continue doing journaling because of things that happened in the past with him. So these two characters meet each other. They really hate each other apparently, and then in Closing and Opening Your Eyes, they are falling in love. So that's what I didn't like. It was like too fast. Like it was from enemies to lovers, but it was like a fast transition. It was just like, it didn't give you like the build up or anything. The Irish Fall was also an advanced reader's copy, and so does the space between. The Irish Fall, I really didn't like this book. I tried to. It took me half a month almost to read this book, and it was very slow pace. It is centered in Ireland, and it's about these two characters. This female character that she has she suffers from a chronic illness, and she decides to, after she got a surgery, to jump on a plane, get in there, and go to Ireland. I didn't find that realistic, so that was number one. And then while she's just looking into the abyss, this guy finds her and tells her like, let's go, jump in my tour bus, because he's a tour guide. And she goes, and then they go to the town where he lives, and because nobody had a place where she could stay in a town, he and his boss, they both live together, tell her that she could stay with them. And then by the next day, she and the guy are in love. Didn't like the story. It wasn't realistic for me or anything. It had fun parts and everything, but not a book for me. The space between, it was advanced reader's copy also, like I said, and I did it as an audiobook. And I didn't like the male narrator, but the female narrator was amazing. So because of that, the book was interesting, and her story, the ones in her words, it was beautiful written. She tells a story of how her first love, and then she thinks that she will never love again, and then she falls in love with this other guy and with the daughter of the guy, and at the end she reconnects with this other guy, and happily ever after story. But it was the way that she transformed herself that I really liked it. In the other part, him as a character, I really didn't connect with him, unfortunately. But overall, the book was a 4-star for me. And that's it for all the books that I read. My book of the month, like I said, is The Invisible Life, or Addie LaRue. And we have all the books that I read in the month of July here in little, like, I tried my hardest to put it all, but I didn't succeed really good. And I read 16 books in between Kindle, audiobooks, and physical books. So this is it for today. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.